Ladies and gentlemen, I am in continual stunned disbelief that this is the society in which I live in. That you have people that continue to treat women as though they don't have agency, as though they're not intelligent human beings, as though they can't make rational decisions, as though they can't weigh the pros and cons of an issue and decide, I'm going to do this issue that is bad for me, but financially profitable. I'm going to do this even though I have the option to do something else. The way that people treat this story with Vince McMahon and Brock Lesnar and all of this stuff, the way they treat it is that you have this poor, doe-eyed girl, this poor, innocent woman who is the victim of ruthless and terrible business tycoon Vince McMahon and Brock Lesnar. And this poor woman, she didn't know what to do. Oh, she was being abused. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's the narrative? This woman, it's like she was prisoned. Vince McMahon is a public figure worth billions and billions of dollars. This woman could have gone to the press. This woman could have gone to the police. This woman could have done any of a number of things. But she chose to stay in the situation she was in for months and months and months and months and months. And the reason that she did this, and I know this is going to blow some of your minds who don't understand that women can be greedy, manipulative, and abusive in their own way, she stayed because she was getting gifts, and because she was getting money, and because she had clout, and it was a position of prestige. She was the mistress of Vince McMahon, and at the time it meant something. Now it doesn't really mean much, and she wanted more money. The whole point of this is more money. So we're looking at a lawsuit where she is looking to sue Vince McMahon for a lot of money. A huge amount of money. And so I'm supposed to just simply unperson Vince McMahon, say he's evil, scrub him from history, he's the worst. Brock Lesnar too, scrub him from WWE and UFC. I'm supposed to do that because the premise, the underlying foundation of all of that is that this woman is a victim, that she was taken advantage of. A woman who got an interview with Vince McMahon in his personal hotel room and chose to go and stay there for 2 hours. This is why I am completely disappointed in our culture and our way of viewing the world. Because from start to finish, you should be condemning, chastising, and berating this woman for having some of the worst judgment I've ever seen. None of you, and me included, would just go to a billionaire's penthouse at whatever time of day because, maybe there's a job offer. No, you wouldn't. I wouldn't. If Mark Zuckerberg called you up and said, I want you to come over to my house, you'd say, no, we can meet at a neutral location. We'll meet at a Starbucks. We'll meet at a place where there's everyone. And if the person says no, then you say no. You find another solution. But I am so sick and tired of people just looking at, this woman is in a tough situation. Men are in tough situations every day. And they don't have to sell their body or sell their soul or sell their dignity to get out of it. God damn it, my grandfather came to this country with nothing. He didn't expect a goddamn handout. He worked every day of the week. He worked every day except for Sunday when they went to church. He worked every day. Every day. Was it pleasant work? Not at first, but he became a machinist. Eventually, he saved up. He had his own machine shop. And he taught my dad, who eventually discovered that he liked electronics. And right there comes the boom of the technological age. And my dad starts making computers and other components, cables and all that. You don't have to sell your body if you're a woman. That's not the only way out. And it's ridiculous that we are excusing what this woman did because we feel bad or because we're a pussified society that wants to put all the blame on men. You have one of the most powerful, richest men in the world, Vince McMahon. And you want me to believe, well, this woman couldn't say no to him. Oh, she could have. Because Vince's career is filled with women saying no to him. But I am so frustrated by this. I'm listening to commentary after commentary. Oh, well, now on hindsight, Vince, he was gross, he was terrible. I see comments about Vince shitting on people's heads. As if any of that were true. As if you actually believe that Vince McMahon, a guy who is known for hyper cleanliness, a guy who has a reputation of being a clean freak, that guy is out there defecating on people's heads. We're supposed to believe that because this woman whose judgment apparently can't be trusted on anything else, any other aspect of her life, you can't trust her because she's just a woman after all, right? It is sickening the way that people in the media and in corporations and in the public generally and online treat women. As though they don't have any agency, they don't have any responsibility, they can't make their own choices, they can't do anything on their own. They have to have everything filtered through this lens of, I'm a poor damsel, what was I to do? What was I to do? Vince McMahon was giving me all this stuff, I couldn't just leave. He was giving me all this stuff. He was giving me all this money. He was paying me. I couldn't just leave. He was pimping me out to John Laurinaitis and Brock Lesnar. Pimping her out. Pimping her out. The absurdity of people treating this story with any sort of seriousness is offensive to me in every regard. Because this isn't a story of a woman who is captured and held against her will and forced by a powerful man, a powerful business tycoon, to do unspeakable things, and she genuinely couldn't escape, and she was really kidnapped, and she really went through hell. This is a woman who willingly consented and participated in everything, knew exactly what she was doing, apparently, according to her, got shat on by Vince McMahon in an orgy. So she's part of an orgy. There are other people there. And she doesn't think to say, help. Help. Yeah, help. Vince McMahon is forcing me to do this. Help. Or to say, Vince McMahon is over here. He's a monster. Help me call the police. You don't think that she has the option to do any of that? Or afterwards, after she gets shit on the head, she doesn't have the option to just leave? Stop infantilizing women and start holding them accountable as human beings who have the mental capacity and the brain space and the ability to make decisions that are bad for themselves, knowing the consequences and doing it anyway. No, I don't think Vince McMahon is a good role model. I never thought he was a good role model. I never thought he was a good person. But the fact of the matter is that he's contributed more good to this world through his work with wrestling and Make-A-Wish and all of that than every single backbencher that wants to now come for blood, for clicks and views and money. He's done more good than all of them combined, and this story doesn't change any of that. Brock Lesnar, one of the most dominant fighters in the world. Apparently, this woman was used as a bargaining chip to get Brock Lesnar back. Like he was thinking about retiring, and Vince was like, "Oh, I've got this really hot chick," and it's like this whole thing is so absurd, and I will adjust my position if something comes out to reveal that this woman was actually in a position where she was like strapped in a cargo container and being shipped from state to state. I will 100% modify everything that I said there. But from everything that I've seen, this woman was showered with lavish gifts, cars, all sorts of stuff. She was given all these gifts while being paid by WWE. She was an employee of WWE. So she got a job. She got all these gifts. She got all this stuff just for being Vince McMahon's mistress. And she did it for a long period of time. She continued to do it. And yet, I'm supposed to sit here and pretend to be offended because this woman made a choice. And then in the end, Vince McMahon decides, I'm not going to pay you. And she goes, oh, well, then I was a victim of trafficking. You shat on me, all this stuff. Oh, and I want way more money than I ever would have earned in 100 lifetimes. I want you to pay me more money than I ever would have earned in 100 lifetimes, and you expect me to believe that this woman is just some deer in the headlights, some poor innocent doe. No. I reject every one of you, you pathetic simps, white knights, beta males. I reject your conclusion. I reject your premise, and I will not be forced into your ridiculous assertion and declaration and narrative and cult worldview that women are not as intelligent or capable as men when it comes to thinking up things to make their life easier that may be bad for them. I've seen the OnlyFans models. I've seen their reasoning why they do it. I've seen the truth as it relates to the fact that women are just as capable as men of making bad decisions that ruin their lives. And the difference is that men are expected to have known better. But for whatever reason, women are treated as, well, they couldn't have known better. What? Oh, it was because it was a big, powerful man. She couldn't have done anything. It's like Vince's career is filled with women who told him no. Look at what happened to China. China is a series of terrible decisions on her part and on WWE's part and on Vince's part. But at the end of the day, she said no. Now, she should have gotten more help. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, everything that you do is her choice. It was her choice to move to Japan and become a teacher. It was her choice to agree to that documentary and all that stuff. People in this life, they have choices that they make. Men and women. Sometimes there's a deal that seems too good to be true. And you're expecting me to say, well, if it's a man, well, then they should have known better. But if it's a girl, then the guy is evil for even offering the thing. If I'm in Vince McMahon's position, and I've got all this power, all this money, all this clout, and I offer, for whatever reason, I lose all my brain cells, and I have to call a woman over to my apartment at 2 a.m., and I just, or whatever time, it could be 10 at night, it could be in the afternoon, and the woman comes over, and we spend hours and hours talking, and I offer her a job with, if I were to lose my mind and lose my morals or whatever, and I were to offer her a job, like, hey, you know what, you suck my dick, and I'll, maybe get you a job in WWE, even if that were the case, it does not absolve her just because Vince did something wrong in the beginning. Just because Vince used his power and influence to try to attract her in, it doesn't change the fact that she took everything. She took the money, she took the gifts, she took all of that. And then she even took the original NDA deal because she was going to get paid. And then when she didn't, that's when this comes out. So I wanted to get this off my heart and get this off my chest because It frustrates the hell out of me. People in this generation do not treat women as equals while claiming that they do. It appears that I am the only person left on the goddamn planet that actually is capable of holding women accountable for their bad decisions, or their decisions that maybe aren't bad, but that in the end are done for bad reasons, like greed or manipulation or whatnot. This woman knew exactly what she was doing. She absolutely knew what she was doing. She knew what she was going to get out of it. She went in it with her eyes wide open. And if she didn't, for whatever reason, you're like, oh, she was just some innocent farm girl. She had no idea. The moment that Vince McMahon propositions you, you say, no, I'm not about that, and then you leave. That's it. That's it. That's the end of it. If Vince McMahon gets in your way, throws you down, rapes you, then you go to the cops. But this thing of, well, I had no choice. I had to stay with him for years and years, and after he shat on my head, I went back to work. No, I refuse to accept that. I don't buy into the narrative. I don't buy into the unpersoning. I think Vince McMahon has done more good for this world than any of these backbenchers or mouthpieces or fast talkers or people looking for clicks and views and relevancy. People who are jealous that they never got to the level of a Vince McMahon. And people who are glad that Brock Lesnar is gone because they wanted his spot. As far as the way I see it, I don't know what Brock Lesnar did that was wrong, but I'm sure something will come out, in the future, some bit of evidence that wasn't revealed that reveals that really Brock Lesnar and Vince McMahon, while they were busy working 200 hours a week, or at least Vince was. I'm exaggerating. You get my point. That they were working so many hours a week that they had time to run like an underground crime ring. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Anyway, that'll do it for today's video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.